So today we're going to be looking at some different formations and tactics, going for pretty much now the end game, the final post patch, and anything that can get you over that line during footies. Now, the most standard formation that I normally start every single game with and eventually evolve my game style around is going to be the 4-4-2. It's easy, it's balanced, and everybody can get used to it. It's one of them formations that for me is just a tried and tested classic. Now obviously, as you can see, the code will be up there in every single one of these, so if you want to pause it and type that in, that is obviously going to be the code added for this specific formation. So with the 4-4-2 and pretty much most formations I've got, I normally go with a balanced build-up style and then go with the defensive approach. You can obviously change this. This is not a specific thing for this formation. This is personally how I like to build up. Whenever I go into the counter style or go for a short passing, I do find that I'm always having to play a very strict way. With the balanced, I can have sometimes that ball over the top. If you're getting frustrated and you don't want to keep passing constantly, it does offer that suitability as well. The high defensive approach has always been a fan favorite of mine, especially now with the defenders that we've got in Van der Ven, Mendy, Maicon, Thuram. All of them defenders going back and forth is always easy to catch up anyway. So that's just going to be pretty much the approach on every single one. Balance high, and then obviously the formation in tow. Now in terms of what we go for then, so without the ball, with the ball. When it comes to the 4-4-2, I'm always after a very balanced approach in terms of trying to go up and trying to come down. The defensive line in the 4-back specifically, which is my personal favourite. Some players are really good with a 3-back and some people like the 5-back. The 5 is just taken away from the attack too much. But in terms of the 4 at the back, I normally go 4-back on both sides and defend on both sides. This pretty much just gives you a solid line. As a 4-4-2, it's very important that I have them on the defend. I don't want them venturing up too much. Yes, maybe you could manually bring Mendy up with a 1-2 with Vinny, or for instance the same with Maicon and Yamal, but realistically, he's going to come back rather than staying up front. When it comes to the midfield, I've obviously gone with Bellingham and Hullet, two very good players in what they do specifically. Hullet is obviously going to be the holding player here with the more defensive zone, and Bellingham's going to be the box-to-box, which is more balanced where he does go up and down. With the level of players now we've got, stamina is not a problem, up and down is an easy motion for him. Now obviously, moving players out of position is still a massive factor, so you want to make sure that you are defending with a CDM. You want to make sure that you're not overcommitting a centre-back, a full-back into the middle or out wide so they're just passed around. And that's just naturally a midfielder's job really. When it comes to Vinny and Yamal, I'm almost going into kind of like a 4-2-4 when with the ball, but making sure that you're not necessarily, like I say, overcommitting a run. You're not just running with one person, taking him out of play, and then leading to nothing down that back line. You want to be kind of getting that ball in where Vinny gets the ball, for instance, and is working it with Ronaldo and Bellingham. Same with Yamal on the other side. Yes, you might get chances where he does overtake it himself, but naturally you want to make sure that you are keeping the ball going forward. And Ronaldo and Mbappe are going to be the advanced forwards. I don't think there's really many other attacking options that I would personally go with here. I think target forward is very subjective. False 9 poacher is not a chance. Advanced forward is normally the only option when it comes to a striker. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. We then go into a 4-3-3, fourth variation with the cam. This is normally a formation I kind of like to go with when I've got the wingers that can do it. sometimes you just don't have the players, and that's where you want to stick the formations. Specifically for this one, like I said, the code is above. We have got a variation of what we can kind of go with here, because pretty much the defense mostly will be the same. Sometimes you can change it, but don't get me wrong, you can go with the balance, you can go with the defend. It doesn't necessarily have that much of a difference in terms of what you personally like. The balance is more than fine, but I just prefer that back line to be nice and tight, get in there, and just make a hassle of it. Obviously, then we've gone with the same with Hullet and Bellingham. The only difference really is going to be the attacking side. Mbappe's gone onto the left-hand side with a quick step. Yamal is obviously on the right still, and Ronaldo's up front with Mia Hamm behind her. Now, obviously, with this formation, I would need to get some of the role plus pluses in, which is more than possible. I could change out players. This is just a personal one that I've thrown together with a team. And in general, the Shadow Striker does work quite well. What I find with this one specifically that I like in the mid-tier, I don't know if this one would specifically work in like rank 1 division 1 elite, is the fact that Mia Hamm is normally so open in this position. It's crazy. She's normally really kind of open to Hullet on the right, and obviously Bellingham, but then also when it comes to Mbappe and Yamal, she almost sits in a pocket. Ronaldo's always at the top front ready for the attack, but Hamm is kind of sitting in that middle and never really gets picked up too much, hence kind of the name. So with the role plus plus, that could be a really good role for her, and most definitely at the moment she sits in there and kind of plays the playmaker a little bit. You could potentially throw someone like a Bellingham in that role instead, and he would do that job even with the role plus plus. So there is always options for that specific, but I do think as a variation of what a kind of 4-4-2 is, we've still got the 4 defenders, 2 midfielders. It's just that we've split the strikers up a little bit and pushed the left and right wing up indefinitely as such. Now we go into almost like a bonus formation more than anything. There's only one other formation that I've truly really gone for, and that is considered the most broken formation in the game. The 4-2-3-1, I think for me is, I've tried it and I saw pros use it and thought, you know what, I'll give it a try, because it's very similar to the formation with the, the non-wide version where you've got just the cams. That worked obviously last year, and again could still work this year, but I've just not really found any love for it. This formation specifically is normally good if you are very good at the build-up. That's the main problem with this, is if you are not specific with your build-up, this is going to be an awful formation for you, because it requires a lot of passing. It requires a very manageable build-up. It's not just run and gun, attack, attack, attack. It is bring everybody forward. So again, we go with the kind of DM roles, and the centre backs and the right backs and left back as such, they stay the same. Holding plus plus on both of these, because they're both obviously going to be DMs. We then obviously have Hamm in here, Yamal and Vinny. Now obviously with Hamm, I've just chucked her in. Bellingham would probably take that role and be able to go with a plus plus. But what we're kind of going for here is Mbappe is going to be that target man, somebody who's going to be up front. He's going to be waiting for that through ball, is going to be waiting for the players to arrive with him. When it comes to the 3 on the axle here, we are looking at Yamal, Vinny and Hamm. They are the people that are going to be pushed forward, but because the formation is very much balanced across that back line, you want to make sure that you are bringing them together. More than likely missing out a Tchouameni and Hullet, but you're playing the triangles. You're playing Vinny, Hamm and Hullet together, pushing Vinny forward on the left, Hamm up through the middle, and then Yamal hopefully should kind of continue forward as well. And the reason why we've kept them at balance is to be able to keep them forward, to keep them coming back as well. As soon as we go with the attack, you find without the ball, they will only go so far. With the ball, they obviously push up a lot more, meaning they're going to go far too quickly up compared to what you actually want them to do. So I personally have always preferred them on balance with this, but like I say, it's not my sort of formation, because it is very much on the passing. It's that build up that really kind of goes with this one. But we still have the most broken formation in the game, which is obviously going to be the 4-2-1-3. Still broken, still just absolutely crazy. And it's very similar to the 4-3-3-4 in the aspect of where everybody's kind of standing, and in terms of how we build up this formation. The code is obviously up there. Like I say, pause the video if you want to grab that code. Obviously balance high as always, and we kind of set it up pretty much like how we do with any formation. The back line is obviously going to be sitting really deep on this one. They're going to be practically sitting there with the deep line playmakers, both on defend, making almost that balance back of 6. And then we've got the 4 attackers. Now, obviously, this works when you do really have a level of attackers that you just cannot lose with. Mbappe, CR7, Yamal, and more than likely going into this formation, Bellingham will more than likely change over here to get that plus. That's going to be the big thing with a lot of players is the formation's great, but as long as you got the plus, that really does make a massive difference. If you've ever played with a player without and with, you can tell the difference if they are the same level of player as well. If you've got obviously the difference between an 85 and a 97, the 97 probably could still do a lot more. But in terms of this formation, obviously the defensive line is going to be very tight, very compact. You're going to, like I say, have almost the 6 here, which is going to play really well and basically provide almost like a brick wall. Whereas the Ham is going to be kind of sitting on that outline with the likes of Tchouameni and Hullet as great passers. You're going to be able to ping that ball straight into her and then potentially have the free attackers going forward consistently. We obviously have the advanced forward for the Ronaldo, and we have then the inside forward for Yamal and Mbappe, both on attack. And I think this formation, just in general, is considered one of the best in FC 25. For its right and wrong reasons, it's considered the number one, and to be honest, I probably have to agree with them. So let me know down below what you think. Make sure you do like and subscribe on this, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.